Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to a brand new series entitled VFL Preview Show. It's fucking awesome. Welcome. I've been wanting to do this for about a month now, and I just haven't really had the idea on how to approach this. So what I want to do eventually is I would like to have, maybe a panel or maybe a guest or two, and just help me kind of go over the fixtures to the upcoming game. For right now, for this episode in particular, I'm just going to go over the Bundesliga. Eventually, if I get to have the interest of people, in the league, or, and everybody, on this channel, then I will definitely span out to Bundesliga 2, to the Premier League, to Championship, to League 1, to Italy, to Serie B, the French league in Spain. You know what I mean? I really want to make this as big as I can and talk about everybody, who's hot, who's not, the teams to look out for, the games to look out for, you know what I mean? I just want to kind of make it that big. But for right now, this is a trial run, so I will only talk about the Bundesliga and the upcoming fixtures for the Bundesliga only. So I do apologize. Hopefully, again, I get the response that I'm looking for. I do have a lot of people wanting to come already, so that is a really good sign. So anyways, let's get straight into it. First game that I definitely see, I'll just actually start off with the games, the more noticeable games. I definitely think Friday is going to be really, really key for Schalke. And the reason I'm going to start there is because I play with them. That's who I signed for. For those that you don't know, I play for VFL Schalke. Schalke is a team that it has, on paper, they have quality players. They have players that have a reputation, that have qualities, but their season hasn't really been what they wanted to. They've been, the word that comes to mind is it's been inconsistent. They've made mistakes that cost them games from the back all the way to the front. In my opinion, they're a team that, when they show up, you don't know what you're going to get. Totally ripping off Forrest Gump, by the way. But yeah, it's a team that you don't know what's going to show up. You're going to get a team that can just destroy and, score 3 or 4 and not concede anything. Or you're going to get a team that's just going to give up anything, and just really not show up. So that's a team that, like I said, just they need to be more consistent, and I think everything should be okay. And yeah, so anyways, first game for them is against VFL Hanover, a team that coming into Bundesliga, I heard a lot about, and I heard that they were going to be a really solid team. As of right now, I want to say they're in 8th place, and that's still good enough, but not, I'm pretty sure, not for what they were hoping for and the expectations that team carried. So that's a really good test for Schalke. It's a really good game that I could definitely see going either way. I could see even a draw coming out of this. So that's a really good game to watch for. The second one that I would see would be Hanover Firth. I want to say, I actually had to research this, just how to pronounce this. So I want to say Firth is how you pronounce that. And that to me is Hanover is a team that I actually got to play against, and they're a really good team. They actually are in 16th place at the moment, but the way they played their last game, anything can happen. They could really show up and just destroy. Firth is a team that they're also, at the bottom of the table, and they're fighting to get out of the relegation zone. So that could be a really good game of teams, just trying to have some pride and avoid being relegated. So that can be a really good game. Moving on, you have Darmstadt versus Bayern Leverkusen, a team that I've also played against, and they're a really good team. Unfortunately, Darmstadt hasn't really done anything. I don't know what's the problem. Haven't played against them, so I don't know if it's a factor that they just don't have enough players, or maybe the quality might be the problem. So the good thing for them is I hope that they were able to make some good acquisitions and maybe dump some offload that wasn't really helping the team. So we'll see. But I can definitely see Bayern Leverkusen walking away with all three points. Sorry, not porn, points. Then we move on to Arminia versus Paderborn. Man, Paderborn is a completely different team. From looking at the table, they actually are on a 3-game winning streak. They lost to us, and after that, they've pretty much been untouchable. They've actually won their last 3. So, man, they're actually kind of, on a roll. So they're definitely a favorite to walk away with all 3 points. I don't know much about Arminia, but I do know that they're pretty much trying to avoid relegation. So if I know one thing, I know that they're going to definitely want to show up and try to make it a good game. Moving on, then we have St. Pauli versus Bochum. We got to play them. They were a really good team that fought, but I just think that St. Pauli should be able to walk away with all 3 points. Moving on to the next game, we have Stuttgart versus Wolfsburg. That should be a really good game. I know Stuttgart last year had a really good team, and I just know that they got rid of a lot of players. So I definitely see Wolfsburg winning this game really comfortably. They're the leaders, and they haven't lost yet. So there you go. They should be able to walk away with this with 3 points, and like I said, very comfortably. Then after that, then we have Dortmund versus Ingolstadt. That to me probably could be a contender for game of the night. That should be a really good game. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling that that's going to be a really close game. I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up maybe 1-0 or maybe 2-1, something of that sort. Then after that, then we have Dusseldorf versus Frankfurt. I can see that being into a good game. I've played both teams, and both teams are really good teams, so that should be a solid game in my opinion. But I definitely see Dusseldorf pulling off the victory. Then to me, this is the game of the night. This is the game to watch. And what I mean about that, if I wasn't playing, if I didn't have a game going on at the same time, I would definitely try to watch this if somebody was streaming, and I'm pretty sure they will. Then you have FC Bayern versus Bremen. This is a really good team. This is a third versus fourth. Whoever wins this is pretty much going to leapfrog and probably contend for second place and start putting pressure on Wolfsburg. So this is a really good game. This is a hell of a game, to be honest. So this is a game to watch in my opinion. So moving on to Saturday, 8 o'clock kickoff time, UK time. And for me, all the way in the States, West Coast, that's like a 12 o'clock kickoff time. And we have Fürth versus Bremen. And Bremen should be able just to get the 3 points easily, comfortably. I probably see this maybe a 3-0, 3-1. Moving on, we have Frankfurt versus Bayern. That could be a really interesting game, but I definitely see Bayern being too strong. After that, we have Ingolstadt versus Dusseldorf, and I see Dusseldorf just being too strong again. I can see maybe this game going 2-0 for some reason. I can see Dusseldorf just moving up the field and moving maybe up the table. I don't know why. I just think that they're just too much for Ingolstadt. Then after this, then to me, this is the game to watch. So you pretty much have first versus second. You have VFL Wolfsburg versus Borussia Dortmund. Man, that's going to be a hell of a game. That just sounds really tasty. It really does. It's mouth-watering. And man, like I said, I would love to see that game. And I'm hoping for a good game. And I'm hoping that whoever wins well. So I definitely see maybe a 1-0. I don't know who. I honestly, it could go either way. I just definitely see a 1-0 happening. So that'd be a hell of a game. That would be the first game to watch. Actually, the game to watch for the 8 o'clock games. After that, we have Bochum versus Stuttgart. That could be a really good game as well, but I see Bochum being too strong just because I've played against them. After that, then we have Paderborn versus St. Pauli. That's a really interesting game. Again, it all depends on how Paderborn keep playing. Can they be consistent and keep winning? Then I can definitely see them getting the 3 points against St. Pauli. After that, then you have Bayern Leverkusen versus Armenia. I just see Leverkusen being too strong and definitely pulling off maybe a 2-0 win. After that, then we have Schalke Darmstadt. Man, again, on paper, Schalke should be able to win. They just have better quality. They have better name players, and just Darmstadt just isn't performing. But again, anything can happen. Really, anything can happen on any given day. So that should be a really interesting game, and let's see how they perform. Then the last game on at the 8 o'clock games, and we have Wolfsburg versus Hanover. This is a really good game. Just because I want to see what Hamburg do. They want to see if they can build on that game that they had against Schalke, where they just dominated and were able to get just amazing performance against Schalke. So that's definitely interesting. I'm definitely hoping that can turn into a good game. Then we move on to the 9 o'clock games. Oh man, this is another group of games that I'm actually really interested in, and I hope that they can just produce really good performances. We have Hanover versus Fürth. I see that going Hanover's way, probably 3-0, 3-1. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends that way. After that, you have Darmstadt versus Hamburg. That's going to be a hell of a game, but I see Hamburg being too strong. Armenia versus Schalke. Again, it should be in Schalke's favor, but again, football isn't played on paper. It's really, they're unreliable right now, and hopefully they can turn it around and just really build. And like I said, just if they can build the consistency, then they should be fine. Then we have St. Pauli versus Leverkusen. That's a really good game. I see that being a real close one. I see a draw coming out of that. I have that feeling. I can see a draw coming out of that. Then we move on to Stuttgart Paderborn. That's a hell of a game. I see that being really close. But I definitely see Paderborn probably getting maybe a 1-0, maybe 2-1, a really close game. Then after that, we move on to Dortmund versus Bochum. Bochum, I can see them, making it close, but I just think they'll fall short. I think Dortmund's too strong for them. After that, we move into Dusseldorf. Dusseldorf, again, I've played against them, and they're a solid team to me. This is the game of the night for Saturday, and Saturday in general, I would say. This is Dusseldorf versus Wolfsburg. I definitely can see them challenging Wolfsburg, but I just think they might be a little too strong for Dusseldorf. So I see maybe a 1-0, maybe 2-0. I see that being a really close game, but I definitely see Wolfsburg coming out with all 3 points. Then after that, we move to Bayern versus Ingolstadt. I just see Bayern being too strong and probably walking away with 3 points very comfortably. Then we move on to the last game on Saturday, which is Bremen versus Frankfurt. And that probably could be a really good game, but I definitely see Bremen being way too strong just because of the class of players that they have. They have a really good attacking game, good at counter-attacking game that I actually experienced for myself. So definitely you can see a really good game. So as you can see, they're really good games so far, Friday and Saturday. And like I said, you can't, like I said, this is where I came to the Bundesliga. You really can't put your money on just one team. Anybody can beat anybody. There are the stronger teams, but for the most part, anybody can beat anybody on any given day. So anyways, guys, before I move on to Sunday's game, I will take a quick break. I'll be right back. Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the VFL Prediction Show. I had to take a piss, that's why I had to take a break. So I hope you guys didn't mind. I let you guys listen to some music. If you guys didn't like it, then fuck it. Just let me know what you guys like, and I'll put that in the next episode. Anyways, moving on to Sunday's game, 8 o'clock kickoff time. You have Girth versus Frankfurt. I see that probably being 0-0, maybe probably a 1-0 going into Frankfurt. Just like I said, they have a really good counter-attacking game, and I can see that going, in their direction. But I've also seen Firth play, and they're a really good team as well, so that should be a really interesting game. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends in a 0-0. Moving on to Ingolstadt, Bremen, that should be a really good game. I just see Bremen being too strong, though, bottom line. And then after that, then to me, this is the game of the 8 o'clock matches. This is Wolfsburg versus Bayern, and this is a hell of a game, guys. I'm serious. This is probably one of the better games you're going to see. And honestly, I just see Wolfsburg being strong. I could definitely see them probably getting a 1-0. But then again, who knows? Maybe a draw would be fair for both. They're both really good teams, and I've played against them both, and they're really good teams. So if anything else, you're going to get a really good game if you check them out. After that, then we have Bochum Dusseldorf. I just see Dusseldorf being too strong and getting the win. After that, you have Paderborn versus Borussia Dortmund, and this could be a really good game. It just all depends if Paderborn can just build off of those 3 victories that they have. And I could see this being a good game, but I just see Dortmund being too strong and getting the win. After that, then we have Leverkusen versus Stuttgart, and that could be a really interesting game. I can see 0-0, maybe a 1-1, but either way, I can see a draw coming out of that. Then after that, then we move Schalke St. Pauli, and that should be a really good game. I just think that Schalke could get the victory and even make this comfortable, but it just all depends on what happens and what team shows up. But either way, I could definitely see a really good game coming out of this. After that, then we have Hamburg versus Arminia. I just think Hamburg do have the players and do have the skills to get out of the relegation zone. I really do see that, and I definitely do see Arminia from looking at their stats and looking at their players, I definitely think they might slip into that relegation zone. Hopefully they can battle out and just, if anything, make this a good game. But I definitely see Hamburg being too strong. After that, then we have Hanover, Darmstadt. I just see Hanover just winning comfortably. I can probably see maybe 3-0, maybe 4-0, who knows. But hopefully it's a good game. Like I said, to me, hopefully Darmstadt made the acquisitions necessary in the transfer window. Hopefully they were able to get stronger, but we will see. Moving on to the 9 o'clock game and the last set of the weekend. I definitely see some really good games in this, and I hope that they're able to produce some really good performances. You have Darmstadt versus Firth. I see Firth just pulling off a 2-1, maybe a 2-0. I hope that Darmstadt can really pull out of that. I really am rooting for them. I love the underdog. So I hope that they can actually get some victories, and just like I said, just start getting some momentum going. After that, then we have Armenia versus Hanover, and Hanover should be able to get the victory. After that, then we have St. Pauli versus Hamburg. I see a really good game building. I can see maybe, a 2-2, 2-1 going either way. Either way, it should be a really good game. After that, we have Stuttgart, Schalke. Schalke should be able to get the victory. Again, it's not just because I play for them. It's just the inconsistency. And if they can string in some performances where they can just be consistent and play properly and control the defense and the mistakes in the back, including goalkeeping, then they should be in business. They should be able to get some victories this weekend. But again, it just goes to show that their inconsistency always gives me doubts. So we'll see what happens. Then after that, then we have Dortmund, Bayern Leverkusen. That should be a really good game, but I just see Dortmund being too strong. After that, we have Dusseldorf versus Paderborn. Man, that on paper that sounds like a really good game. I just see Dusseldorf being too strong. Then after that, we have Bayern versus Bochum. And I see Bayern winning this comfortably. I see maybe a 3-2, 3-1, and just being too strong. After that, then we have Bremen versus Wolfsburg. To me, this is the game of the night of both set matches, just because I've played against both and I've seen that Wolfsburg is a hell of a team. They pressure you into making mistakes, and they have really, really good offensive game. But then I see Bremen, they have a really good counter-attacking. So again, I mean, can Bremen, impose their style of play, and can they push off the pressure that Wolfsburg will bring? I mean, I don't know. It should be a really good game. And the last game of the night for Sunday is Frankfurt versus Ingolstadt. I see that being a hell of a game, but I just think it's just going to be a stalemate, in my opinion. I just think both teams are too strong and they're going to cancel each other out, and I see it probably a 1-1 or 0-0. So there you go, guys. That is my take on the VFL prediction show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, this is a trial run, hopefully with time, and if I can get enough support, then I will have more information from other leagues, other divisions. Hopefully I can get other managers to come on and just really make this an interesting series, interesting for everybody that plays the VFL. And even for the people that don't. People want to know, what is the VFL? What the hell are you talking about? Well, this is it. It's competition. It's, trying to go out there and compete, and just to see who the best is. For me, playing pro clubs isn't fun anymore. So this is why I do this, and I know there's people out there that feel the same way. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this, because I did. It was fucking awesome. And yeah, guys, again, the more I get into this and the more positive feedback, or any feedback that I get, I will know what to do and where to go from here. And hopefully this takes off, and hopefully we can make this, a weekly thing. And yeah, guys, but anyways, until next time, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys did, you know what to do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.